Oh yeah, I've got these gorgeous drawstring bags made out of cotton, and I have them in the playroom, and I use them to store my sewing machine and felting machine presser feet. But the problem is, even though they're different coloured bags, I can never remember which foot is in which. So today I'm going to make myself some little tags to hang on them with something to indicate that they are the different feet that they are. So I'm going to take you along for the ride and show you how I'm going to do that. I've already started a couple of them, and I'm going to back these today, and I'm going to make another one for my sewing machine. So this one's for my felter, this one's for my overlocker, and I'm about to do one for my sewing machine. So this is what you're going to need for the project. Obviously your scissors and maybe a needle threader, some needles and some thread. I'm using some embroidery floss for my project, and I'm picking that to go with the colours that I've picked for the tag itself. To start with, we're going to use a little piece of quilt batting, but you could use fleece or felt or something like that, just to give it a nice squishy soft backing. You don't have to use this, but I just think it makes it a little bit more pleasant to sew through, and also gives that nice little puffiness, because obviously quilting is a bit of a joy. So that's going to be the backing, and I'm just using one piece for each tag, and you can cut them any size. It's totally up to you. I'm not using a template or anything like that. The size is completely up to you for your project. For the top of this and the back of it, just some scraps of fabric. I use this for one of my tags, and I use this for the other one. This is from an old dress, and these are from some old trousers, obviously washed and clean. And this is the one that I'll be doing today. So this is a piece of t-shirt fabric, actually from a top of my daughter's from a long time ago. There's my piece of batting on the back of it, and it's that batting that has the slight adhesive on it, so you can iron it on. And I have ironed it on, but it doesn't always stay very well, so you might also need some pins, or perhaps some of that lovely sew line glue, fabric glue, that you can use to hold things in place. And some more fabric scraps, so I'm using a little bit of silk offcut from some dressmaking, a little bit of tea-dyed lace, and to add to the front of the project so that I actually know what is in each of my bags, I am personalising each tag, and I am cutting out a letter. So this one's O for overlocker, and I'm using some iron-on heat and bond. So this is the heat and bond light, and that comes with full instructions if you use that. But again, you can use a sew line glue pen or a glue stick, or just pin it on, and that will work as well. But the heat and bond light I find is really good for small fiddly projects like this sort of applique, raw edge applique, because it stops it from fraying, and also you can iron it down so you don't have to pin it. So I'm using some fabric that's got some heat and bond light on the back, and then I've just cut that to the shape of the letter that I need. I use a die cutter for mine. I'm not that neat when I'm cutting out, but obviously just use a template or cut it, freehand it yourself, which I used to do before I got my die cutter. And that's what we're going to do. So step one is to cut out your piece of batting and your scraps of fabric, and then we're going to layer them up onto the piece of batting, and we're going to do a little bit of slow stitching, sort of Sashiko-style, like I have done here on these two tags. And I'm using some embroidery floss, and before I put the letter on the top, I am sewing running stitch back and forth across the tag all the way. And then when I've got to the end of that, I then turn it round and I go up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's created a really nice effect on the back of the tags. You can see it's not very neat on the back, but I think that looks lovely, and it's got a really nice texture. To hold your fabric in place for sewing, like I say, this is an iron-on batting, or you could use some of this sew line pen, and I find this is really great for just holding the things down long enough so that you can stitch through it. But sometimes I do add a couple of pins to the project as well, and that just holds everything in place so that I can sew back and forth. Before I start, I make a knot in the end of my thread. I go in from the back of the fabric, and then that knot stops it from pulling through. And then I just take a small amount of fabric each time and do a running stitch all the way across. I'm keeping my stitches quite large because I want to see the thread, and I'm not worrying about it being neat because it's the process for me, and also it's going to be a practical item. But I do love the look of this stitch just going across and back again, and that's just enough to hold all of the different types of fabric in place. So I'll finish doing that, then we'll add the little S to the front and I'll stitch around that. So just a couple of tips: as you're sewing, your fabric does bunch up a little bit, so just periodically pull it back so that it's nice and flat. You don't have to make your rows neat. Mine just do sort of seem to fall that way, but obviously you can do them irregular if you like. And also it does make life easy if you have a slightly larger needle, and it helps if you've got a sharper needle. The one I'm using at the moment isn't particularly sharp, and it's not particularly long either, and you can get needles called Sashiko needles, and they're actually ideal for this type of project because you can get more fabric onto them and they're nice and sharp as well. So I think I'm going to go and dig out my Sashiko needles now to finish this project. So I'm going to finish these rows in the red, and then I'm going to add a different colour to go up and down. Now I've done the stitching, I want to add my little S, and because I've got the heat and bond light on, I'm going to iron that in place there, and then I'm going to do a little running stitch all the way around the outside to completely secure it in place. So to use the heat and bond light, you just want to remove your paper backing, put the little letter in place, and then use your iron on a medium heat. I use a 2-spot without any steam. I'm using my little travel iron, and you just want to press on there gently for a few seconds, and don't move it around too much, otherwise you can disturb the fibres and cause it to lift on the edges, and then it should be secured down for you to be able to stitch around the outside. If you're going to back your tag, then cut a piece of fabric for the back that's about the same size as the front. I'm going to have to cut this one and neaten it up a little bit. And then what we'll do is put the right sides together and sew around the edge, leaving a bit of a space so that you can turn it the right way round. So sew all the way around the edge, just leaving a gap at the bottom so you can turn it the right way round. I'm just going to neaten mine up slightly so there isn't too much of this extra fabric when I turn it. So here we have all three finished. This one's for my sewing machine, which is nicely backed, and my felting machine, and my overlocker. So they're all done now, so when they're hanging up, hopefully I'll be able to see at a glance which pedal is for which machine, and that should make my life a little bit easier. So thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this little tag making process. If you have, give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.